Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to take a look at the question of how strong Zesshi Zetsumei, the strongest godkin of the theocracy and the child of the Elf King, really is. What clues we have, what power ridge can be confirmed, and what her talent might be. And I'm doing this as a little preparation video, for I believe that Zesshi will have a major role to play in either the next volume or, far more likely, in the already upcoming novel, in which Ainz Ooal Gown will travel to the Elven Kingdom, supposedly for a holiday. Also, a lot of you have started to ask how strong Zesshi could be, and therefore I'm going to make a full video dedicated to just this question. And I also made a little bonus video explaining why Zeshi's hair looks like it belongs to the average emo girl 10-15 years ago. But before we are going to take a further look at her, let me thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. Now, with all of that said, let's start with a quick analysis of what we already know about Zeshi's strength. And first and foremost, we will go over her equipment, because normally even a level 100 New World being would be at a significant disadvantage against any Floor Guardian or any other NPC of Nazarick at level 100, because they don't have access to nearly the same level of equipment that Nazarick has. But Zesshi, her half-brother, and by extension the entirety of the Black Scripture, is different, because the 6 great gods that founded the slain theocracy and have saved humanity from otherwise certain extinction were in all likelihood no gods but just players that also have been reincarnated into the new world, just as Ainz had been, which means that Zesshi, as not only a godkin, but as the most powerful one, should have the right to pick the finest of weapons and armor compatible with her. And then the question is, has she access to armor of the divine class and weapons of the divine class, the highest tier of items back in Yggdrasil? And I'm asking this because, after all, it was not common for a player to own a single divine class item, even if he has reached level 100 already. But what's far more uncommon is the ownership of a world class item than just owning a divine piece of equipment, since they are far rarer and strictly limited to just 200 pieces. And apparently the players that found it slain were able to get their hands on one, hence why the theocracy has downfall of castle and country. And since it seems that a world item is a requirement to even be reincarnated into the new world, then they should have access and acquired it even back in Yggdrasil already. So therefore these players not only had a world-class item back in Yggdrasil, but they were also able to defend it all the way, and therefore they and by extent Zesshi should have access to the highest tiers of items, and with her equipment part being extremely likely of the divine tier, the highest tier that there is. The question is, how strong is Zesshi herself? And Shalt here can answer the question, for Zesshi is far stronger than the godkin that leads the Black Scripture, who by the way is still a teenager, or someone in his early 20s. And Zesshi by comparison is roughly a century old, and this teenage godkin leader fought Shalt here and was estimated by her to be stronger than Solution Epsilon, with whom she traveled the road just a short while ago. And Solution Epsilon has the level of 57, so the young godkin is even stronger than her, and seems to be significantly stronger than anyone. A difference in level of 5 is usually required. We can say that the godkin that led the Black Scripture is at least of the level of 62, and he might even be stronger, considering that he fought Shalt here, who is the strongest Floor Guardian. And since he never in his entire life had won one single battle against Zesshi, the girl with the scythe should be at least 5 levels higher than him, making Zesshi at least the equal to a level 67 Nazarick NPC with god tier items. Now for the upper limit, we thus far really can't tell but since even Fluda Paradane, a mere human, had managed to grow significantly over the course of 2 centuries, and since even normal humans like Clementine or the other members of the Black Scripture can reach the realm of heroes, aka level 30 and upwards, and since a teenage godkin is at least in his 60s level-wise, then Zesshi, who had lived and killed for over 100 years, to the point she's bored by anyone and anything, should be incredibly powerful, but also have troubles gaining more experience points because of the lackluster range of enemies. Now, at least the player that had led the 13 heroes fought the evil deities, who were quite powerful in their own right, and while he, according to Evil Eye, had been the weakest member of the heroes initially, he, by the end of the journey, became the strongest member. And Platinum Dragonlord's armor was also part of this party, and it had been estimated by Pandora's actor, Albedo, and Shaldir Bloodfallen to be somewhere in the level range of the upper 80s and lower 90s, meaning that the player that has fought the evil deities should have been somewhat in the mid or upper 90s, level-wise. But he had also an ample supply of enemies that were quite strong, and while Zesshi is a member of the Black Scripture, she mostly guards the treasury vault where all of the items of the 6 players had been stored, meaning she, despite being over 100 years old, should have been receiving less experience points than the players that led the 13 heroes. And the Slain Theocracy is still hesitant to use her against the Elf Kingdom, out of fear that Platinum would show up with his real body, or just with his armor, which means that Zesshi should be weaker than Platinum, and Platinum can defeat even some floor guardians, meaning that Zeshi's level range is somewhat between 67 and at least 95. But furthermore, she has also the single most useful talent in the New World, which, since she is able to attack during time freezes in the Overlord game Mass for the Dead, could mean that she can deal damage even when time is frozen as her talent, which not only grant her easy victories to stronger enemies, but also more time to kill things, because she can manipulate time. And therefore Zesshi should be somewhat in the level range of 80 to 90, but her talent would make her a danger to even level 100 players, especially if they have insufficient countermeasures to time stop, since even if one can move during time freezes, only Zesshi would have the potential to deal damage within this time span. And in a hypothetical battle between Ainz and Zesshi, it could also be a potential easy road to victory if Ainz decided to use the goal of all life is death, only for Zesshi to then freeze time and attack, meaning that she could inflict enough damage to cancel the spell, or rather the skill that will buff the spell, and leave Ainz at a significant disadvantage because of the lost health. And the same goes for any kind of super team magic that he could deploy against her, even if he stands very far away. So a battle against the undead Overlord would be extremely interesting. And after hyping up myself for the 15th novel, let me talk about some more Zesshi in the bonus video, link to it in the description. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Dash Dash Dash, Bad Guy Ye, Ben C, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Okill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, and Sonnegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.